Okay, so hi everybody, this is Najimai once again. You're welcome to Let's Get Real podcast on Anchor, on Breakers, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Also, any other podcast app you know. So today, as you can see, I have a fine gentleman by me. I'm always having a different co-host. So this is a different co-host for a particular agenda. What is the agenda? It's about change, right? Change in my country, in our country. So this man here is a people's man, an articulate communicator. Aryee is his name actually. He has been the communications command of the Economic Fighters League, whose duties include direct media engagement since 2017, and in 2021, with the collective efforts of several brilliant comrades, campaigned actively for the successful 4th August #Face the Country March. He brings to the team a worldview informed by an exposure to the socio-economic and political conditions of our people within and outside Africa. An action-oriented activist, I'm proud. NI's latest initiative, Project Didan, was a 7-day working tour in the Western region organizing the locals, including 350 commercial vehicle drivers. All right, so this is Ni. As you know, I'm just So before we go into the actual matters, what is Didan about?
Project Didan.
Yeah.
Okay. So Didan Kimathi was the name of one of the leaders of the Mau uprising in Kenya. Yes, he was the general. He led the Kenyans to revolt. The people were called the Kikuyu. So he led the revolt against the British colonials. Unfortunately, some people ratted him out, and then he was apprehended and they hanged him. So the Project Didan was actually in honor of him. That's why we use Didan. Yes. So Project Didan was an action-oriented campaign where we meet the people face to face, engage them, not on social media. No, we like to do the face to face thing. Yeah. So it was a 7-day visit to the Western region. It was just 3 of us. Went down, met the people on the ground, but we had access to meet 350 commercial drivers within the Kwesi Mintum taxi rank. Yes.
Oh, okay. And I guess you were successful.
Oh, it was.
Ni is actually a man who doesn't like structure. He doesn't like to go a step-by-step procedure. So I understand we say he didn't use the social, because social media itself, it's something else. Yeah. So now let's drive into #Face the Country. So this is not about question and answers, because I am also part of the movement and I'm also a fighter, as he is, but I'm a member only, a lazy one, I'll confess. Let's just go straight into it right now. So clarify this.
Yeah.
Is Fix the Country a movement by fighters, or you are supporting the movement?
Okay, so it's a movement for the youth of Ghana. That's the first thing. But for it to move forward, we need some people to come together to drive the idea forward. Right? Yes, and Economic Fighters League happened to be one of the co-conveners. Okay. Right. So we are much a part of it, but so is every other youth in Ghana. It's a national movement for everyone who thinks they deserve better conditions in Ghana. Okay. It's for all of us. Yes. But then, like I said, there has to be some people driving the effort, because we can't all be doing the same thing at the same time. Yeah. So fighters are much a part of it, as well as every other youth in Ghana. Okay.
So it's by the youth, for the youth, and for all. So he actually almost said everything about what the movement is about, but I think I have a short write-up about it. So #Face the Country movement is an amorphous movement that was started by the Ghanaian youth for the youth, as I said. It was all a virtual platform that seeks to give the unheard Ghanaian a voice to be heard. The movement sprang up its head from the virtual realms into reality when it wrote to the Ghana Police Service notice on going on a demo on the 6th May 2021, which was stopped by an ex parte injunction. Yeah. Right. After weeks of legal tussling and arguments, the conveners received the green light from the courts and rose back to the GPS, as the Ghana Police Service, of another planned demo, dubbed the #4th August demo. And they gave their word of providing security, and the arguments in courts brought out an understanding between the divides to work together. I know you know a lot about the brouhaha that went on with the court issue. Because actually, when I realized that was when I heard Ifya Odo was really a part of it, Kali J was really a part of it. But even with I don't have Kali J being a part of the whatever I just wrote right now.
Okay.
But I know Kali J started the hashtag thing on Twitter.
Okay.
What do you say about that?
So it was a group of friends. I mean, youth, right?
Yeah.
And so the conversation came up, and we're talking about the social conditions of our people, socio-economic conditions of our people. So it came up. Why don't we do something about it?
Yeah.
So if we want to do something about a broken system, the first thing we have to do is to fix that system, right? So then the name came up, Fix the Country, and then it went on Twitter. So I think Kali J put it up first, and then it caught on. We kept retweeting, and then before we knew it caught on. People actually kind of got the message, because it's really simple. We're saying our country deserves better.
Yeah.
Things are not working, so fix it. I mean, it's just that simple.
I mean, that's true, because it really trended. Pictures of some bad roads. I saw a picture where the quota has moved from the street itself to another part.
You don't have to talk too far. Right in front here is not hard.
I know,
so
right?
We live it, we feel it, yes.
But like that's good, and it's good to have influencers championing things like this. Not just about their money, the goods and all that, but if they really are seeing what is happening and that needs to be changed, it is good they're championing things like this.
True, and I agree with that. So I like to question why we refer to certain people as celebrities.
Yeah.
There are people you celebrate. So you ask yourself, what are we celebrating about these individuals?
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be about your craft, you're good, yes, that is good. But then you are supposed to reflect the conditions of your people. That's what you speak to. So you use your platform, your influence to actually champion some of these things for your people. That's what makes people celebrate you. Not just you've done your artwork, so no. It goes a little more beyond that.
Yeah. We say Fix the Country, it doesn't have a leader. We don't have specific demands. Because every Ghanaian has a problem.
True.
A problem could be something else, yours could be something else. Tell me, what is your problem right now? What do you want to be fixed in the country?
Okay, so let me touch on that quickly. Yes, indeed, Fix the Country might mean several things to several people, right? But there's one underlying factor of it. So whether it is, you could be wherever it is, but then once you're here, we face the same problems, underlying problems. And that's what we're trying to highlight.
Yeah.
Right? Someone might need employment today. Someone might be fighting for accommodation. Someone might even be needing health service.
Yeah.
But you see, all of this, the common denominator we have is that our country or our nation is not able to provide this for all of us. So even though we have different needs and wants, it's all connected, it's interconnected.
Okay.
So Fix the Country is a holistic thing. And that's why when people ask, what are your specific demands for fixing the country, it's very problematic. Because I'll give you a very typical example. Okay. Say we're dealing with unemployment, right? Unemployment is not a problem that stands by itself. It's not mutually exclusive to everything else. Indeed, the entire economy is interconnected. So to deal with unemployment, you have to deal with first your energy generation capacity.
Yeah.
So it means you're looking at the field of energy, right? You have to look at your skill set for the labor.
Yeah.
So you're looking at education. You have to make sure that you have the infrastructure to be able to move the products to the markets. So you're looking at infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking at roads, your transportation,
stuff,
all of that. Now, your workers need to be healthy. Otherwise, you can't have a healthy workforce. So then you're looking at the health sector. So you're looking at hospitals, all of that.
Yeah.
Now, you need to have workers who are able to work. And you can't work if you're hungry. So then you're looking at agriculture. So just dealing with one issue, which is unemployment, it touches on 5 major other industries or categories. Yes. So when they ask you what is it exactly that you're trying to fix, you should give us points or bullets or itemize those demands. It's very problematic because everything is interconnected. So Fix the Country, when we say it's a holistic approach to this, we want every part of it. Like I said, everything is connected. We want all of those parts to be touched on, and then you can fix it.
Okay, so before we go on here, I was discussing with Nee on some of the things that people really want it to be fixed, right? But he was telling me we can't go by that because that is not really what we want. If you're going to go by, I told you he doesn't like step-by-step stuff. He doesn't like structure. just go all out and do what you must. Is that not it?
No, my issue with those particular limiting bullets is, you see, if I break down my want to about 5 points, and someone is able to take care of 3, he can leave that and say, at least I've done more than half of it, so everything is done.
Oh yeah, I get you.
Yeah, but my argument here is that all of the problems we are listing are interconnected. You can't touch one without touching the others. So the approach to it has to be holistic. You can't make it by piecemeal. That doesn't work. And we've tried to do this for over 30 years, and that's why we're in the same position we are in. But if you look at people who have done it and have been successful at fixing the problems, they took a holistic approach to it. That, okay, this is what we're looking at, so how do we fix the different sectors? And then you merge all of that into one solid plan. So it's not as if I do not like structure, but when you're dealing within those limiting processes, it's limiting in itself, yes.
All right, that's cool. So, see, though he doesn't like it, but these are some demands I've seen somewhere.
Yeah, no,
I have seen somewhere.
Fair enough.
But I know some of them would really lead to a lot of stuff. So, for example, the National Development Plan. So I'll read out what I have, so I wouldn't go saying something different. Okay. So a National Development Plan, which is adopted through a participatory process and which is expressly binding on all political actors in Ghana. The plan must tackle all sectors and areas necessary for the development of this country, including health, education, infrastructure, I think agriculture, etc., and must provide a legally enforceable roadmap to fix underdevelopment. There has to be a genuine plan to fix the country. So, for example, Dubai.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody should take Dubai as an example. I kind of had a funny story. I don't know if it's from you that the current leader of Dubai actually locked up his ankles and asked for money from them. Is that true?
No, I don't.
Okay, I heard it from somebody.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is how, because he realized things are not going. So that is how he took them off power to gain the power to make things right. Certain things you cannot mention on air because that will put you in some serious legal problems.
Yeah.
I agree. National Development Plan would really help because every political party would come in and be a government, would have his or her own plan. And then when the 4 years is over, will not be able to finish whatever plan he brought.
Yeah.
When we have a new political party sitting on, he comes with a different thing and leaves what was started. For example, we have hospitals now which are just there and are not being used. But we have how many new hospitals are we building now?
Right now, the last I checked was 111.
Okay, so those there are not going to be used, right?
Well, let's see.
So that means if the next elections come up and then the NDC do not, let's say, so because they were there before, do not take it. So that means a different party comes and do a new whole thing together. What do you think about National Development Plan? How do you think it's going to create an impact on the growth of the country?
Sweet. So let me take it a step back, and then we can come forward again. So there's a misconception that is going around. People actually refer to our elected representatives as government. They're not the government.
Yeah.
We, the people, are the government.
Yeah.
Yes. The people we elect to go into office are elected representatives. That's what we have to get clear. And then you realize that all power resides in the people, in the government, not your elected representatives.
But do you know people like...
Yes.
should I say Africans?
Yeah.
And come back to Ghana, we do not know things like this. We allow ourselves to belittle in that manner to not to know the kind of power we have.
No, it's deliberate. So these things I'm talking about is supposed to be the mandate of the NCCE. That's the National Commission for Civic Education.
Oh yeah.
And they receive a budget every year to push out this education, but they don't. The only thing they're interested in is every 4 years they teach you how to go and vote. So they bring the ballot paper and tell you how you're supposed to do it.
Like, thank you for educating me. I never knew this.
No, this is their mandate for the NCCE. This is what they're supposed to teach the people.
So why do you think, not to take you off course, why do you think they are not teaching these people their rights and what role they play in government?
You can't rule an enlightened, educated people. You cannot rule an educated, enlightened people. You can't.
That's true.
When the people are enlightened and they're educated, that's when you have democracy. What we're practicing is not democracy. We practice an aspect of democracy, which is just the adult suffrage. That is you going to the polls to vote every 4 years.
Yeah.
Apart from that, there's nothing democratic about our governance. Nothing. democracy is supposed to be consultation, mass consultation with the people on every single decision-making process. How do I mean? If the government wants to, say, build new hospitals, it's not the government that decides this is what we want to do. No, the people would have to actually attest to it that this is what we want before it can go forward. But that's not done. They give the power to our elected representatives in parliament to do that on our behalf without no consultation.
And these people did not even come to their communities and districts to ask you, what do you want? All the no.
Except election year, then they come for your votes. That's the only thing they do. So we don't practice the democracy. So when I hear people say, some people like Fix the Country is actually a threat to our democracy, I ask them, what democracy are you talking about? Because what we are actually fighting for is to give the people the access to actually participate in that democracy. Because democracy is not just elections, no. And even that, it's only one day that they set aside for you to be able to express or exercise your democratic rights. That's the only one day in 4 years. So you see, it's a sham that they've given to us. And the ignorance I'm talking about is deliberate. So you see, the NCC, if the NCC was actually doing its mandate well, Ghanaians would be more enlightened, they'll be politically conscious, they will know these things. And that makes the people very powerful. Let me give you this quick thing. You're asking about the National Development Plan. So the people can decide for themselves what they want to be done, right? And who knows it better than who feels it? The people. So they can decide what we need to be done. Of course, not every single wishes and wants of the people can be met, but collectively we can draw a plan. And that's why we have to do this in consultation with the people. So yes, we have our elected representatives, but then we the people will decide what we want. We send that to our elected representatives to send to the assembly, the National Assembly, which is the parliament. Now there's going to be a debate on that, on how feasible our demands are and the best way to make those things happen. Now whatever is decided in parliament is brought back to the people, that this is what we've come up. If the people agree and consent to what has been decided finally in parliament, then we give them the go-ahead to implement it. That is democracy. But when they go and sit there on the blind side of the people and take those decisions without reporting or reverting to the people for any consultation or consent whatsoever, they just go there and make all those decisions and impose it on us. That's not democracy. Democracy is by the people, for the people, and of the people. So it's organic. It entails everybody's efforts.
That's
and yes.
true.
But that is not. It's not
so
done.
that is more like, though you do not like structure. I always say this. You don't like step by step or follow the rules. So it's gonna be more like the chief to the assemblyman to the MP and then to parliament.
You said the chief.
Yeah.
I like that. You know, you're rewriting our entire government structure. If you look at it as it stands right now, our local authorities, which are the chiefs, right, the traditional rulers, are not really giving the recognition that they deserve. It's actually been put under another government structure, so it's not organic. And you see, this thing is a colonial invention. So if one of the things we've been pushing as fighters is that we have to completely decolonize our entire system. We have to redefine the structure of our local traditional rulers in the National Development Plan. And these are the things that we are looking forward to. So in drawing your National Development Plan, you realize that the roles of the MCEs and the DCEs right now have actually usurped the authority of the traditional rulers. What they were supposed to be doing, they have been sidelined, and that has been given to certain bureaucrats, I'd like to call them.
You know, what you're saying is true, because I was reading something on social stratification this morning, and I read something about, we actually had 3 groups when it comes to power, when it comes to social stratification itself. So the Akan, Ewe, Dems, they are the second group, and they had more like power. And after the colonial masters had left, they were really having the leadership of ruling the people, doing what they want.
You mean when the colonials left?
Yes. So, but after post that, and they came in and we brought in these ways of governance where we take precedence and all that. They took the power from the chiefs. That's what you're saying. So right now they're not even seen as important in some particular and very important roles and decisions in the country.
That is partly correct.
Yeah.
But then you see, this is the reason why I don't like. It seems I don't like structure, because you see, in the conversation we are having, to have a very good appreciation of the situation, you have to have some knowledge of history. So you see, it's not just politics, but you have to go into history, and history and law go together. So you cannot do history without considering the law. And that's why I don't like to focus just on one thing like that, because most things you find out are interconnected.
Yeah.
So let me touch on this quickly. When the colonials came,
Yeah.
one of the things they did was they usurped the power of the kings, and they used the kings as a buffer between the colonials and the people, right? And that is, if you want to keep your power as a traditional ruler, as a king, I don't like to even refer to them as chiefs. I like to, because they're kings. So if you wanted to retain your seat and your throne, you had to do our dictates, and then we'd make sure we protect you. So in those periods, you realize that the kings actually stepped between the colonials and then the people.
Yeah.
And they were always on the side of the colonials. Those who were for the people were either dethroned, or you were killed, or you were sent in exile to Seychelles and those other places here. Now, when we got into the period where we were struggling for independence, there was a line drawn in that the people wanted to free themselves from the colonials. But here's the case where the kings had been put in the middle. So it was choose where you stand. It's either you're with the people or you're with the colonials. And if you're with the colonials, you're kicked out. You get it? And most of them obviously will sidestep with the colonials. So they had to be put aside. So the nationalistic call for national independence could be pushed forward. So it seemed as if we had sidestepped the king's authority, but it was not deliberate. It was just the circumstances at that time. Today, we are not in those times any longer. We have to have the national decision or the national discussion where we restructure our local government system, and then we can make provisions for all of these things.
Okay, all right. So I never said it before. I stood to be corrected, so I accept that. All right. So secondly, aside the national development plan, let's go towards the new constitution.
Yes.
I have less and least knowledge about law, but as you can see, and how he's speaking, his broadly knowledge. Kindly educate us.
Yeah, but first off, I'm not a lawyer, but that does not limit anybody from studying law. I mean.
Okay, so before you go on, so while we spoke about the NCCE, educating the people, you know, I think when I went on air on ETV with the other Nee, the man was trying to, the host was trying to say something like, though the youth are not really given some kind of education to upgrade themselves, we can still go on there ourselves and educate ourselves.
Not true. I mean, you have a whole university programs in the internet. So if you can go on any social media platform, on social Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, the amount of data you spend on those channels, you can actually download whole libraries.
Yeah.
And if my phone is not with me, I could show you my e-library. I have a lot of books. I downloaded them for free.
I won't be surprised. You're like, yo, I won't be surprised.
Yeah. But knowledge indeed is power.
It is.
But I say applied knowledge is power, because you can have all the knowledge, if you don't apply it, it's useless.
Wow.
So yes. So
that's deep.
So I'm not a lawyer, but I like to get familiar with some of the legal principles. Yes.
Okay.
And a constitution, if you look at Britain,
so,
yes.
What constitution are we changing for the sake of the people out there?
The 1992 constitution.
Thank you.
Yes. If you look at the British system, they don't have a written constitution, but the British system has been standing for a very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, you can.
The system is working.
You know.
Yeah.
But they don't even have it written down. They don't have a written constitution. No.
Oh.
So it is actually the mindset of the people, the consciousness of the people. That's what actually gives power to whatever document you have. So if you're calling for a new constitution, you see, let me give you this analogy.
Okay.
Nobody would run his computer today on Windows 98. It's not possible.
Yeah.
Because you see, the times call for different demands, and that is what goes into the creation of software.
Yeah.
The constitution is more like the software of the country, of the nation.
Yeah.
Right? This constitution we're running on currently was created in 1992, which is 6 years before Windows 98 was done, right? So if by 2000 you had a new operating system, because you realized that Windows 98 was not able to catch up with the times, the demands of the times, how then do you have an operating system for the nation that has been running for about 30 years with no structural changes? You see, so even if you look at, and to draw a constitution, it takes so many things into consideration. You have to look at the demographics, the number of people first, the population, you get it, the educational level of the people, and you make provisions for all of these things in the constitution, right? Even the offices and positions you create in the constitution is dependent on the conditions of the reality all the time. But we've grown past that. Things have rapidly changed so fast, so much, that you cannot still rely on that document. So we realized that there's some clashes that be happening right now, not because people really want to do that, but it's a structural flaw. So that is why we need a constitution change. In fact, the late former president Mills, constituted a committee to review the constitution because he realized that it was inefficient to go. To take us forward, right? So he actually constituted a committee to review the constitution. So that even states or that admits that he himself recognized that there was a need for a change in the.
But trust me, if I have heard about things like that, but majority of Ghanaians do not know about this, and then they wouldn't say out for people to know about that.
No, again, so the NCC is not doing this civic education, yes, but they're not doing it. And you see, that's what I'm saying. That those in power today, the ruling class, it's favorable to them, the conditions right now, the ignorance of the masses. Because if the people are not ignorant, they are enlightened and they are politically conscious, they can't get away with the many evils they've been getting away with. So it's in their interest to keep us ignorant. You see?
That's true.
And that's why we, with the communication command of fighters, like to send out this message out there, try to raise the political consciousness of the people so they know exactly what their power is. There's this thing I threw out on one of my communications on TV. I wouldn't like to mention the TV for publicity. I can't give them free publicity here. So I mentioned that if we were able to get the signature of 3 million Ghanaians, we could start a process for a vote of no confidence in this current administration, and we can leverage on that to change the constitution. People really didn't get what I meant. Now, for the 1992 constitution to be adopted as the constitution, there was a referendum that was done. It was passed by 3.6 million Ghanaians, voted to say, yes, we want this document, or we accept this document. Those same 3.6 people can come back today and say, we do not want this document any longer because it does not reflect our wishes and aspirations. And this is civics, this is common law for every common man. But nobody is actually telling the people that you have the power to initiate this process. Nobody says this.
Well, like that's massive education.
That's the people's power.
That's really deep one. So please, let's educate ourselves so we know we have power. Applied knowledge is power, said by me, Aryee. So this is still Let's Get Real. Say whatever you feel, just be you. Okay, so we've already done the fix the country part. Let's go to the day itself for the demo, the 4th of August demo. So I was asking you about planning. You said there was no planning.
Well, what I meant was it was not. Most of the things we did were spontaneous. There was some planning as to how to control the crowd, to make provisions for adherence to the the COVID protocols and all of that.
Because I was a marshal. Like, how would I be a marshal?
Without the plan,
that was the planning, you know.
But what I mean is, we didn't plan how people got there. We didn't plan the activities that happened during the march. Were not planned. They were spontaneous reactions from the people. That's what I mean. So it was not. Let me say, it was not a choreographed march. It was a natural occurring thing. It was a spontaneous march from the people. That's what I meant. Yes, but prior to the day, for about a week, most of the fighters never got sleep.
That's true.
Yeah, there's actually no sleep.
That's you, Namata, Hadi, Benjamin, Oliver, Felicity, Bash, the CIC, and then your boy.
Most of the team. In fact, everybody on the team didn't get sleep.
The commanders.
Yeah. No, and the other fighters. It was a joint thing.
Well, yeah, it was.
In fact, that's what I meant by there was no proper structure, because in the preparations there was no leadership.
Yeah.
Everybody knew what they had to do.
Go in and do what you want to do for the change that we need.
So
I get you on that.
That's what I meant. Yeah. So it was not like I'm the leader, I'm the boss here, so you do this. No. Everybody knew what we had to contribute to make this thing happen, and everybody was at it. So it was a naturally organic thing. It was not really structured in that sense of leadership. No.
Okay.
It was a spontaneous thing.
I mean, trust me, the turnout was
mind-blowing.
Was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I was taking the views for live streaming on Facebook. I had to run at the pace of the people. If they're going fast, you're going fast before you get up, man. That was what was happening. And the actual part I liked was when we saw different organizations with their banners working to see that people really came. And even those without the group, I mean, the youth was for the youth, and the youth really came out. The part that really got to me was when you got to the Independence Square. The last part where they had to swear
the oath of allegiance,
that they wouldn't go back to do those things ever again. I mean, that really got to me, because you realize that people had really gotten tired of all of these things happening. They couldn't take it anymore. But I mean, 50 cedis in a day, it's gone.
Is that 50 CDs?
I mean, during elections, how much did they give you?
I took out a 100 CD note just to fold it properly.
Yeah.
And by the time I was done folding it, I was left with 2 CDs, 50 plus.
You said, have you seen that TikTok video trending?
No.
Like, it has a song.
Yeah.
But it's like when you're having 200. The next hours, you have like just 2 CDs in your hand.
Yeah.
That is the guy.
So people have actually kept this thing for a very long time. They've tried to adjust for about 30 years, right? But it gets to a point where they say enough is enough.
Enough is enough. I am young, but I have realized enough is enough. Just because I have been able to start a business on my own, to fight so hard to get a job for myself, and working as a freelancer, that gives you the chance to do a lot of things in addition. So more like I'm having something for my. Doesn't mean it's okay to make things let go. Because aside me, I have other people who are even trying more than I am. Probably it was by luck and by grace I got to where I am right now. Somebody has tried like how many times? Yesterday a guy was telling me, I was trying to convince him to say that. No matter how much you try, you just have to keep trying. He was like, do you know how many people have tried? You were probably lucky. People have tried like 100 times, applying. What else, man? And also, I was saying this. We some of us are not really innovative. That is true. Would you not like to read? I don't like. Trust me, he knows. Reading is a case. It's a case for me. So for me to even say I'm going to sit very long behind the book where will give me knowledge to apply somewhere to create something for myself is hard. But it will be really good to you and to me and to us if we started reading more, getting your mindset very creative. I mean, there are organizations that are really supporting startups. If you really have a startup, there are thousands of organizations that will give you the capital, even if you are at the idea stage, right, to really move on to somewhere. And those are the businesses right now are not even willing to employ people, because yes, when you employ the Ghanaian youth to come into your business because of the same agent are giving him a direction, he thinks that's too much, he can't take it. But trust me, I started with all my strength and I'm tired and I've employed you. You can't make my work go to waste like that. So let's be creative, let's be supportive. And this is still me, the national spokesperson for Economic Fighters League. So we have spoken about the movement. Before I conclude on the movement and the demo, yes, we'll give you news about the next demos after. But I would want to say, even if what you've heard on Twitter is all about hashtags, name and shame, okay? What even me has said here alone, trust me, I am educated. Okay, I am really educated. And even if I'm young, I still know that if I'm okay, people need change. So, and I know, it's like, they feel as if we are attacking the government. No. I can say every government that comes in power.
Government representative.
Yes. Every government representative that comes in power, there's a demo. So like, what is different from this demonstration that is happening? There's always something that people will want. The needs of people are scarce. So they will always be needing something. So if you think your today is good, think about your future, your children's future, your grandchildren. And if it's today is like this, what shows the future will be better for you or for your family? So join today, join the movement today, not because it's just a place, but for yourself and for the change for yourself and your family and your friends. Nee, thank you very much for the education you have given us. Though you are not done, I'm really appreciate that you are here today. So, but as I said, new co-host for New Agenda, so you'll be here a couple of times.
Yeah, sure.
Probably, I think we should start applying for him to be a lecturer at the university to start teaching, lecturing on what? Change or sociology? What course would that be?
Oh, I actually teach. I teach the streets. So the youth are my university. The streets are my classrooms. That's why I like to teach. Yeah, it's free. No tuition fees, nothing.
How much more should I admire you, man? I mean, that is really impressive. Yeah. If you are really free and you think everybody out there deserves the most, I mean, you are great. You don't need to be called upon the stage for an award to say how much good of a person, how much great of a person you are. You can see he's a great person. He's doing a lot.
Thank you.
He's an Nkrumahist, a Pan-Africanist. He goes back to his history, related to the present, just to see the kind of change you want. Be that kind of person. Don't think about you. Don't be selfish, man. I'm not selfish. Even if not for anything, for my siblings, I'm doing this for them. Because if right now I am suffering, what shows they won't suffer? Please.
Let me make it easier for them. So people don't understand why we do some of the things we do.
Yeah.
You know? And yes, of course, with the access we've gained over the years, some of us could have put ourselves in better positions. I mean, economically.
That is true.
Yes, but people don't get why we still do this. And I've said this some time back, but the work we do is divinely mandated.
Yeah.
We don't do this because we want to, but we've been given that task to do this. And for my brothers out there who are Christians, you can look into your Bible in the book of Matthew, chapter 25, 36 to 41. Yes, you find that in the words of Jesus Christ himself, he mandates us to do what we are doing. And not to quote verbatim, but I can paraphrase. He says, when the king comes down in his glory, with his angels and all of that, yes, it says he shall sit on his throne, and the nations shall be gathered before him.
Yeah.
And he shall divide the people on his left and his right. The sheep on his left, the sheep on his right, the goats on the left. And then he shall say to the goats that they should depart from him and go into hell that's been prepared for the devil and his angels. Because he, the king, was hungry and they did not give him food.
Yeah.
He was thirsty, they didn't give him water. He was sick and in prison and they didn't come and visit him. And the people will ask him, Abba Lord, when did we see you and didn't do these things for you?
You and me.
And he says, when you didn't do it for your brother, you didn't do it for me. Then he shall turn to the sheep and tell them they should come unto him into paradise and eternal glory.
Yeah.
Because again, he was hungry and they gave him food. He was thirsty, they gave him water.
Yeah.
He was sick and in prison, they visited him. And they shall also ask him and say, but when do we see you and do all of these things? And then he shall tell them, when you did it for your brother, you did it for me. So you see, that alone, and he says that you doing this for your brother is accorded unto you as righteousness. That's what people don't get. So what is standing between you and your glory of going into heaven is how you treat your brother. So the last commandment Jesus gave us before he went into heaven was that as I have loved you, love each other. He didn't say go and pray 3 times a day. He didn't say go fast. He didn't say go do all of those. No, he says if you love me, you keep my commandment. And the only commandment he gave was that as I have loved you, love each other.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not all about books. It's spiritual too, please. Yeah. So, all right. He is the national spokesperson, again, for Economic Fighters League. I am a member. I joined in the year 2018, if I'm sure. That was when I met Commander Hadi Yakubu.
Fighter General.
My husband. Sorry. Yeah, let me change that. Like, he's my husband. He really told me about what Fighters League is about. I mean, if you are studying artistic activism together, and we're on the same path. So I was like, then let me just join, because change is what I like. And if it really calls or it comes about getting the culprits angry and doing the wrong things, I'm rather happy. So let me just not drive away. Just like one news he had today about whatever happened. You got the news I'm talking about. I was really more enthusiastic to move on.
Yeah, no, sure. And one of the things that keeps us together, keeps the bond together, shared suffering. Revolutionary activity, just be activists, but understand that you're in revolutionary work. Yeah. And revolution is not a violent act necessarily. It is just change. That's what revolution means, yes. So revolution is just change, and that's what we are in for. We are looking for change. But understand that people do not like change. Change is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So people who are opposed to change would actually fight you. So, and more so in a revolutionary setting, right? This is politics. We know how politics can get, because some people are benefiting from the status quo. So you trying or seeking to change things as they are comes with certain risk, if you like.
Yeah.
But you see, that's what makes the work worth it. In fact, Jesus himself didn't go scot-free. The people came after him and actually killed him. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that's going to happen to everybody. That's why you have to be 10 steps ahead of your enemy. And then you have to, that's why studying too comes into play.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I was actually asking Pastor General to give me a soundshaw's write-up about Economic Fighters League.
Okay.
He told me no, since I'm a member.
Do it yourself, yeah.
Do it myself. But this is it's to my advantage that we have the national spokesperson here. He's going to educate me and educate, add up what I also know. So please educate us.
Okay, so quickly, since my boss, the fighter general, told you to write it yourself because you're a fighter.
I know.
Are
you really doing this?
No, hold on.
No.
I'll tell you. No, I can't.
You,
I can't wait. I can't go beyond my boss.
We end the show here.
So I can't go beyond my boss. So I'll tell you the same thing my boss told you.
Oh, actually no.
That do it yourself.
I wouldn't want to disgrace myself. I really want to put the golden crown on Economic Fighters League. And that's what I would want you to.
So, for the sake of our people out there, I'll just introduce fighters. I'll introduce them to fighters.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. So, Economic Fighters League, as the name says, it's Economic Fighters League, right? So it's a league of fighters who are fighting for economic freedom. And what do we mean by economic freedom? Economic freedom is basically your ability to be able to be independent for yourself and do what you need to do for yourself. I mean, that's basically what it is. So not having to be dependent on it. There's a saying that he who feeds you controls you, right? We are saying to be able to be independent and have that freedom. You should not have to beg for certain basic necessities in life. That's what we're fighting for. And we're saying this has to be accorded to every single person. By virtue of you being a Ghanaian, there's certain benefits that have to come to you naturally. I mean, Ghana is a very wealthy nation. We've been blessed with so many resources that can take care of every single person. In fact, there was a meeting with an official from Israel who said the resources that we have in Ghana is actually enough to take care of 600 million people.
Yeah, well, what is that number now?
Ghana is barely 30 million.
See?
But he says we have enough resources, and this is like 2 years ago. Today we found lithium in commercial quantities. You're looking at $150 billion worth of lithium.
They're going to sell it to somebody else, man. That money's not coming to you.
You said going to?
They will, or they already started.
It's done.
Oh my God.
So we fighting for economic freedom in fighters is basically that. We're saying we have the resources to take care of every single Ghanaian, and even more. Not just limited to Ghana. We can take care of so many other people.
Yeah.
So that's what we are championing for. We want this to happen. And we can only do this when you and I and the rest of the people out there come together and we decide that this is what we have to do. So Fighters is a youthful movement. We just have the name Fighters, but indeed we are youth. We're youth of Ghana.
Yeah. Have you seen us boxing before? We mean crap.
No, we fight only the system, the political establishment. That's where our violence is channeled to.
Oh my God.
And our
that's
weapons,
true, though. That's true.
Our weapons are not carnal.
Yeah.
Not to sound biblical, but yes, our weapons are intellectual. That's what we like to fight the battle.
We can see that.
And that's why we like to study. And that's why you like to study.
You know I do not.
No, but now you will. You will. No, but you see, that's the interesting thing. Studying doesn't have to be you reading books. No. There's a lot of information you can get from YouTube, watching videos,
I really learn when people are speaking to me. I like the conversation.
And that's why we're doing the podcast. So you see, this will reach out to so many people. So learning is in different avenues. Some of us like to go the old school. I like to take the book and have my personal space thing. But I enjoy conversations like this too. So sometimes I just step out, meet the youth, engage them, see what people are thinking. Yeah, it's stimulating too, like that. Yeah,
it's cool.
It is. So basically, that's what Fighters is about. Fighters is about raising the consciousness of the Ghanaian youth. We're saying, look, let's come together and we can build a better Ghana. Yeah. Not just the better Ghana, but better place in the world for everybody. So yes, that's what Fighters really is about.
So that is what Fighters is about. And if I want to join Fighters,
it's across social media. Just type Fighters in there. You find a black and white fist raised up like that, it's clenched, in a red background, and you find the name Fighters or Economic Fighters League, or EFL for short. Yeah, you can just sign up on the page. When you drop a message in there, the registration document will be sent to you. It's an e-document, so it's sent to you. You fill it up, and I mean, by default, you're a fighter. You're just not conscious of it yet. You're not aware.
I mean, as far as you're fighting for change, you don't even need to have the beret on. You are a fighter because you're fighting for something positive. So. Yes, that is what he said about Fighters, and I think we are almost in all the regions.
Almost.
Oh yeah.
Well,
You see why I didn't want to disgrace myself?
Oh no, but it's good. I mean, it makes people understand what exactly we're dealing with here. So we're national because we are touching. Everyone in Ghana is concerned, has to get involved. It's a national thing. So we touch every single part of the country. Yeah. And indeed, right now we've gone across borders.
Yeah, I know we have international
exactly.
League,
so we are for the people. So wherever you find our people at, that's where we are.
Yes. I remember. Good job done to all fighters, as we say, or me would say, everybody did their job together. Nobody's taking a bigger accolade. So, good job done to everybody moving for the positive change or the actual change that we deserve, and also for the hashtag Face the Country movement. Oliver, Benjamin, Felicity, Bash. So if you really, before we go or we end this, I'll be asking you a last question. Right. I think I'll do a bump with you. You see, he's fine, right? So I'll let him answer the questions that you want. So if you want to donate, okay, do you have the
contact for
fighters?
Yeah, we don't even like to use the word donate. It sounds like a commercial activity. So we say if you want to support the movement.
Okay, so if you want to support, kindly.
Yes, you can reach us on the social media pages. Fix the Country hashtag. Yeah, you contact us on there. You find out the details for sending your support. It could be in cash, it could be in kind. I mean, whatever support you think you can give us, yes, you can reach us out. Then yes.
And same for the hashtag Face the Country movement too. I wanted to mention everything here, but I think that'll be too much. You can just go onto the social media pages and then things. So yeah, as you're saying the youth, I remember when we were going for the march, we passed by ATU, and they're still looking at us like, what are we doing? It's like you're not feeling the whole thing that we are feeling. So I think it's high time we also go into the schools to educate them. Even if they're not feeling it now, they won't want to step out of the school. But trust me, masters are selling roasted maize and banana and plantain and things.
Yeah.
When they step out, they will feel it. So I think, yes, we are going to start with the university soon. Our master here is championing it. So, do you have a social media handle for Instagram, Facebook?
Yes, but Instagram is very inactive. I'm not too active on social media except on Facebook and WhatsApp.
So, give us your Facebook handle.
It's Aryee Opari Bay.
Aryee Opari Bay. So, Bay. So that is his name on Facebook. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, the podcast Let's Get Real.podcast, and myself now _Jumai, and I'm sure for fighters.
You can type just fighters. You find
fighters because we will be posting this there, and same on my page, and so same on the podcast page itself. So before we move,
right.
By the man.
Sister.
Yeah.
Well, go on.
What should the question be?
She's lost her.
Yeah. So don't even like. I think he's funny because I can see some. He said he told me something yesterday. Yeah, I realized that when you're low key, you got a vibe. Are we dating?
Who?
You. No, are you? That's the question. Sorry. Are you dating?
Yeah, because when.
Yeah, I mean some girls, if they see new faces, they want to ask, like, if there's a chance,
A chance?
Yeah.
Well, if you think you're interested. No, I'm not dating.
Before you said that, like, he what he told me the other time. He's about revolution, and he gives his all to revolution. So if you are his girlfriend and you're not in the same path and you think he's giving too much of his time to revolution, then sit somewhere. Don't come and say you should date because you complain about attention. So as he's saying, he is single. But if you are not about revolution and you think attention will be too much needed, please don't. It's fine.
You're spoiling my market too.
As somebody told me,
spoiling my market
we have to chop the girls in the same group. So we can grow the group together.
So you're spoiling the market.
Okay, please. Okay, you tell me.
No, okay. So it's like this.
Okay.
You can't be revolutionary without having a high regard for women.
Yeah.
Because every man has a mother. That is standard. I mean, yes. And you see, the condition of our women today reflect our collective situation. So one of the motivation for our fight is we want to restore the honor of the woman.
Yeah.
Right here. And that takes a lot of work. See, it takes a lot of work. And like every other work, relationship is also work. You need to put in some time and effort. Yeah. So most of the time you find out that people who chart the course we are on they don't have time for personal life in terms of the
you're always on the run,
always on the move. When things get busy, you find out you start traveling in different places at the same time. I mean, different times. So it's a huge sacrifice, and it's not everybody who's able to make that sacrifice. So if you don't find a woman who understands what you're about, it becomes a very, very big issue.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, I've had to make some sacrifices, but going forward, I wouldn't like to burden any other woman with something like that. So yes, I'm single at the moment.
Okay.
I wouldn't say searching, but I'm working.
He's working on it. He's not searching. He's working. So not for me to forget. On Monday, that's the 23rd of August, we'll be having our press conference at the Circle New Plant Station, 10 a.m. So if you want to, we are here. We want to thank you about the march you had with us and what the next steps are. Yes, I know what the next phase is. I can't say it. So if you really want to be in the next part of our demo or our march, kindly be at the Circle New Plant Station at 10:30 a.m. on Monday, 23rd August, and let's do this together. Awesome. Thank you, Nee.
Anytime.
And watch out, we'll be here once again next week to talk to you about and educate about what you need to know, your rights, and what change you really need to see.
Yes.
See you same time.
Bless.
We out.
Peace.